name is Shayla Holloway. I'm 17, and something that I'm excited about today. I actually have a tumbling practice coming up. I'm preparing for a scholarship program. It's called Distinguished Young Women, and for my talent for the program, I'm doing a gymnastics routine. So I'm excited to go to tumbling practice and practice my talent.
Nice. So do you do gymnastics like in school or like at a club?
I used to. I did gymnastics for around 8 years since like I was six. And then I moved. So I used to live in South Florida. I moved to Alabama. I ended up quitting, but I still kept up with all my gymnastics and I'm bringing it back for the
Nice.
program.
Okay, cool.
I'm
So
not a
this
retirement.
nice, nice, nice. Retirement, you're 17. Okay. Um, so obviously you have one, a talent that I am now aware of that is well known. But do you have a talent that you feel, or like a skill that you
Mm.
feel like a lot of people don't know about you, or very few know about you?
Yes. This is a bit more on like the abstract side, but I'm very like adaptable. So, kind of like a little humble brag is like I'm very good at picking up skills and then I'm able to replicate them very, I'm sorry, notification. But I'm very good at like picking up skills and replicating them really easy. So just for example, my mom's a baker. So she has her own baking business and I've literally just been able to learn how to bake very well just from watching her. So I'm really good at like decorating cakes. For example, another thing, I'm very good at drawing, which is just very out of my wheelhouse because I'm more athletic and I'm not like a super creative person. But just from being able to like watch skills and then like receive corrections on them, I'm very adaptable. And that helps me a lot, just like with little fun things on the side, like drawing and baking. But then it also helps me really well for my academics and then my professional pursuits as well.
Yeah. It also helps just, being an adaptable person. It's like you can mesh well with like different groups of people and
Yes.
things like that. It makes you a very sociable person.
Yes.
So very good talent and skill to have. But that's so funny you mentioned your mom's a baker because yesterday I went down like a rabbit hole of how to make a sourdough starter.
Oh goodness. See, bread
So,
is not my thing. She's
okay,
typically with like cakes and stuff.
she does cake bake. Okay, cool.
Yes.
Yeah,
Bread
no,
couldn't help you
it's
there.
so hard. It's
It
so
is very difficult.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, so my next question is
Mhm.
if you were to give me an accomplishment or like a personal project that you've worked on, what would it be? And like, or I guess like, which one are you most proud of?
Mhm. Yes. So I have quite a few accomplishments, some that are like very big. For example, with the program I was just talking about earlier, I'm this Distinguished Young Woman of Mobile County, which is a huge accomplishment. But one of the ones that is most meaningful to me is like very small. It's just a school award. Last year, I got like my school has like an award show at the end of every year to award for academic accomplishments and stuff. And I was awarded like Outstanding Junior in AP Chemistry, which like seemingly not a big award compared to some of the other things on my resume, but it's the one that I definitely worked the hardest for. And just being able to be rewarded for all of my hard work, all of the blood, sweat, and actual tears, plenty of tears on AP chemistry, because it was a skill that didn't really come easy to me. But being able to be rewarded for all the hard work and to know that all of my midnight study sessions and tears with a cup of ramen in hand were all actually worth something. So it was really meaningful to me.
That is so awesome.
Mhm.
I my next question, I guess. Um, so is chemistry not the major that we're going into in college?
See, what's even funnier is that I want to go into the medical field.
Oh
Yeah. I don't know what it was. I'm more of like, the thing is, I'm like, people are either biology or like chemistry based, and I'm really good at chemistry. I just struggled a lot in that class for some reason. I have no idea what it was. Grade was fine. I had an A in the class. I passed the AP exam. I just struggled really hard, and I'm not sure why, but the fact that I was able to overcome all of that and that I'm still actually interested in the medical field after all of it,
yeah.
just really, I feel like goes to show how passionate I am about pursuing medicine.
Yeah, no, I think you should take that as like a sign to go
Yeah.
forward. Because even chemistry sucks for everyone. Like no one
Yeah.
likes
It's
chemistry and
not fun.
anyone that it's not fun, it's not enjoyable. And
Right.
wait till you get to OChem, even different ball game. But
Not
it's okay because in
excited.
college they really only make you take like two or three. So it's
Right.
fine. Um, but yeah, stick to it. Stick to it.
Yes.
But that's great. I'm really happy for you, and I'm glad that your hard work was able to be showcased through an award, and other people got to see that too. So very
Thank you.
great accomplishment. Oh my god, I hate my computer. Okay, so my next question is, since you are going, well, you're not in college yet, right?
No, ma'am.
Yeah, so you're going next year?
Mhm,
Okay, cool. And so, since you are going down, like you want to go down the medical field, you are
mhm.
obviously a really good student. I want to ask you, in your own terms, what do you feel like education means?
To me, education equals access. So when you're able to get a good education, you're able to get your degrees, your diplomas, and you're just more knowledgeable on the world around you. That equals access to opportunities in the professional world, just in the world in general. And I think it's very, very important that people go and pursue an education to make sure that they have access or just equal access to all the opportunities that other people have.
Perfect. Very well said answer.
Thank you.
More of a fun question related to education.
Mhm.
If you could pick a topic or a skill of some sort that should be taught in schools, in majority of schools, that
Yes.
isn't, what would it be?
I definitely think that people should have more classes on just investing in yourself and in your own potential. That's something that I struggled with, especially this year. Because with all of my college apps and having to do a bunch of soul searching to write the perfect college essay, it's just something that I feel like people need to work on a lot earlier in their life, just to make sure that they fully understand who they are, their self, their potential, and to trust in the fact that everything is going to come out okay. You are setting yourself up to be in the place that you want to be, and then just making sure that you're capitalizing on all of your potential and actively seeking out all the opportunities that you can get if you just actively look for them is something that I think should definitely be taught in a class.
I love that, like a motivation class. Like you look in
Definitely.
the mirror for 5 minutes and you tell yourself how
Oh,
awesome you are. Like
yeah, definitely.
that'd be so nice. No, that is a very good like that's a very good answer because I feel like, when you get older, you kind of struggle with, am I doing the right thing? Like,
Right.
am I
Instead
meant
of
to
having to figure all that out in college in your sophomore year, picking a major, and you're finally by yourself for the first time, making sure that you're actually able to know who you are before you go off into the world, I feel like is something that people definitely should be have the
Yes.
opportunity to do.
I would sign up for that class in a heartbeat. I would go back to high school just to take that class. Um,
Right.
Perfect. Okay. So you don't have to be, super deep with this one if you don't want to. But tell me about someone who you feel like has really impacted your life and why.
Yes. So the first person that comes to mind is my grandma on my dad's side. We all call her grandma. And she just got not diagnosed, or she didn't just get diagnosed, but recently she was diagnosed with very severe dementia. However, she's definitely one of the most influential people in my life just because she essentially made me who I am today. She's a very creative person and she's the most meticulous and organized person I've ever met in my life. And it even spreads into her creativity. Like she loves to make jewelry, she loves to sew, and literally all of her arts and craft supplies are meticulously organized, labeled, all of that stuff. So, being able to learn how to sew from her when I was like 7 years old, or learning how to crochet, learning how to make jewelry, even just some like silly things like painting my nails, has made me a really creative person, and that's come really in handy. Not just for creative things, or not just for school, but also it's made me a more creative person when it comes to taking care of her now, which it's really odd because like you wouldn't think that the two connect, but it was really crazy to see how some of the lessons that I learned from her when I was like 7, learning how to hand sew a wallet for the first time, have helped me take care of her now that I'm 17 years old and I'm essentially the one, not the one, but I'm essentially in charge of her. So that was really crazy for me to see, but even though I know that she's not able to like experience all of my accomplishments and be able to see that I'm the person who I've become today, I feel like she knows the big impact that she's had on my life. And it's just really important to me that every step that I take now in the future, there's just more intention behind it, making sure that I take the lessons that she learned and I carry those with me throughout the rest of the steps of my life.
Yeah. That's so beautifully said. Like there's more intention behind it.
Yes.
I love that. I always
Thank
get so gushy when we talk about our experience.
you. I
It's my
know.
favorite subject. I hope she's still like, like healthy,
Yes.
physically and, still carrying on.
She
Um,
is very thankful.
Good, good. Okay. Next question
Mhm.
is there any cause or like social issue that you're really passionate about?
Yes. One issue that I'm particularly passionate about is gun violence, and specifically when it comes to school shootings. Like I said, I grew up in South Florida, so with the Marjorie Stoneman Douglas shooting in Parkland, Florida, I like when I did gymnastics, my gym was maybe 10 minutes away from the school. So I had friends who I did gymnastics with who ended up losing friends and family members in the shooting. And it was really disheartening to see, but now, especially living in a state like Alabama, more conservative, a lot more gung ho about the Second Amendment. Um, Not saying that their opinions are wrong or anything. I totally understand everybody has the right to protect themselves, but making sure that there's at least more restrictions on when it comes to who's able to purchase guns, restrictions on open carry laws, things of that nature, just to make sure that we're putting steps in place to prevent mass shootings and school shootings like this in the future is something that I'm very passionate about. And I've been able to do some research, and I'm hoping to in the future do more advocacy work or just to at least spread more awareness about the issue.
Sorry, I was the whole time. Um, yeah, I completely agree with that, and I'm so sorry that you had to go through that. Like, I know it didn't like personally affect you, but that is still something kind of traumatic.
Yeah.
Um, but uh, yeah, I understand Alabama is it's up
Yeah,
there. It's up
it
there with us.
is very,
Um,
very much so.
yeah. But I hope that you're surrounded by a community that is also like-minded,
Definitely.
um,
Yeah.
and not like guns for everyone. Anyways, moving on.
Mhm.
Um, do you feel like there is a specific challenge that you faced in your life that has really like shaped you to the person I'm speaking to today?
Definitely. So going back to with my grandma, um, the way that this all happened is we ended up moving back to Alabama. My parents are from here, born and raised here. But the reason we ended up moving back to Alabama was to take care of my grandparents. So all of the timing worked out perfectly. We moved here in quarantine, and then unfortunately in 2022, my grandfather passed. So my family was tasked with the responsibility and taking the full guardianship over my grandma with dementia, and also my uncle, who's an intellectually disabled adult. So all of this happened basically in the midst of quarantine, following all the aftermath of that, and when I'm starting high school, my older brother's getting ready to go off to college. So it was just a lot of things happening at once, and then it was not only that, but also just very emotionally challenging. But um, getting to move here before all of that went down and still getting like the last 2 years with my grandparents on my dad's side was one really meaningful, but then also being able to turn around and still being able to take care of them in the way that they took care of me and my family when we were little has been really meaningful and impactful on me personally. However, it has definitely been challenging. Instead of getting to be a regular teenager in some aspects, I have to come home and I have the added responsibilities of, for example, helping my uncle make lunch, or when we go out, I have to make sure that my grandma is like calm and that she's able to go out where we are. So it's just little things like that, little like seemingly like chores. They're more meaningful to me just because I get to take care of them in the way that they took care of me. But it's also an added challenge having to balance that and then all of my school, all of my extracurriculars, and still finding time to have a social life at the end of the day. So that's
Can I
definitely been
ask?
challenging. Yeah.
Yeah. Can I ask how you feel like you're going about managing it? Because I feel like that would be kind of something useful to give to someone who's going through a similar challenge. But mind you, it seems like you're doing great. Because if like
Thank you.
I don't know you, but just from this brief interaction, it seems like you have a really big heart, and if anyone's gonna do it, it should be you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm very fortunate that my parents are like very involved, not just when it comes to taking care of my relatives, but also just in my academic pursuits and my extracurricular pursuits in general. So I'm definitely not alone when it comes to handling all of this. But in addition to them being super involved and helping me, and just making sure that I have a really big and supportive community around me to help me with all this stuff at the end of the day, the steps that I take personally is I'm a meticulous planner. Get that from my grandma for sure. But I make sure I have a really nice, like I have a planner on my computer, I have one on my phone, and then they're all synced up, and I literally write out everything I have to do for the day, and I check them off as I go. And that's the one way that I'm able to keep everything organized. I'm able to remember everything I have to do. And then that just really helps me keep me like grounded and focused on all the things I have to do during the day, because as you can imagine, it gets very hectic.
Oh yeah, I'm sure it gets confusing, but I don't know why. I feel like you're a person that has really good handwriting. Is
See,
that true?
no, you think so. It's
No.
not bad, but it's definitely
No. Okay.
I
Okay. I don't know why. Like I get the vibe that I'm like she does calligraphy for sure.
wish. I
Maybe one
wish.
day. Maybe one day. Um. Okay. Great. Perfect answer. Very well said.
Thank you.
I guess my kind of almost last question is if you obviously have done a lot in your life and you're very young and you kind of
Mhm.
had to grow up a little bit faster than most, which sometimes can be a little unfortunate, but also in, the future you look back on it and you're like, everything happens for a reason. I'm very, grateful.
Mhm.
At least I hope that that's what will happen when you grow
Yeah.
up. So I guess my kind of last question is if you were to give one piece of advice, or if you wish that you could receive a piece of advice before this all went down in your life, or kind of like things took a turn, what would you have really liked to hear?
I definitely wish that when I was younger, I would have heard to live more in the present moment. And that sounds like super cliche now because I'm a senior and I'm going off to college, and everybody's like, this is your last year of being a kid, so live in the present. And like, I didn't fully realize that until everything started to go down when I first started high school. So, for example, like I said, I did gymnastics, and that was really time consuming. I'd have to leave school early. I'd drive 45 minutes over to where my gym was, and I'd be in gymnastics 4.5 hours a day, 6 days a week. It was a lot. But I really wish I would have appreciated those even very hard moments more when I was there, just because little did I know, within like a few years, COVID happened. I had to move a state away, and then my entire life changed. So, if I would have known to appreciate all of the friends and the relationships and the times that I had there more, I'm not saying that I regret it either, because I'm very fortunate for all the opportunities that I've gotten since I've moved here, but I feel like that would have made the transition a lot easier. And then it's something that I've learned now, but I'm definitely applying more so now. So better late than never, I guess. I'm glad that I realized the advice now and I'm applying it now, but if I had the chance to do it more so then, I think that would have been very helpful.
Yeah. No, but it's great that you're, implementing it now. And I feel like when you're older, it matters a bit more just because you're going
Yeah,
in the big girl world.
right.
But don't even worry. I'm 24 and I still feel like a teenager. So you don't really grow up after in college, and even after, it's like if you have a young mind and young personality, you stay young forever. And I live by that.
Perfect.
So
Love it.
don't stress. Don't stress. Okay, that was kind of my last like real question. I guess I kind of wanted to just since this isn't really a traditional way of applying to things.
Yeah,
I hope it was enjoyable for you because I
it
love implementing.
was.
Yeah, good.
Yes.
Okay, great.
Better than writing essays. I'll take it.
Okay. No, right? I know. So you mentioned essays. In usual applications, you kind of you're like restricted to like 500 words or
Mhm,
whatever. What do you feel like usually gets left out for you when
mhm.
doing a standard application that you wish could be showcased more?
Yeah. So of course, everybody or all the scholarship applications or college applications that I apply to, they get a copy of like your transcript, so they see your grades. They get a copy of your resume most of the time, so you see all of your extracurricular involvement. But I feel like you just see like them on a list, and you don't really get to understand like what participation you have in all of these activities, and then not only that, but all the time management skills that come behind it. So, for example, if I were to show you my resume, you'd see that I've done 9 AP classes. And on top of the 9 AP classes, I'm in, let's say, 10 clubs. And you get to see that and you're like, wow, she's really involved. But you don't see all the behind the scenes with all of the time planning and all the management that comes on the flip side of it. And then in addition, which I feel like is really unique to me that I don't get to say a lot on my applications, is the fact that I go to a boarding school. So I attend a residential high school that's a college prep high school. It's called the Alabama School of Math and Science. So we're specifically catered towards learning specifically like STEM skills, which is really funny too because I literally live 10 minutes away from school, so I get best of both worlds. But the fact that I currently live on my own is preparing me for college. So I already feel like I have that advantage when it comes to college applications, that competitive edge. But at the same time, it's a lot more challenging for me because even though my parents are very involved, there's only so much they can do because I don't really live with them at the end of the day. So I have to hold myself to an extra level of accountability and responsibility that other high schoolers my age do, adding on all of the family responsibilities and all the other activities that I do during the day. And that's a skill, or that's something that about me that definitely gets left out on typical applications, and it's something that's very important. I feel like definitely sets me apart from other applicants in the general application pool, and it's something that I wish I could emphasize more. So I'm very glad I have the opportunity to talk about it now.
Yeah, no, I'm so glad you mentioned that because I can't believe you went through the whole thing and I didn't know you were not at home.
Right.
Oh my gosh, how is like boarding school? I don't really know any people
I
that go.
love it, and I have another sad story to tell. Christmas break is just over, and they were doing construction on our roof, and come to find out, there's a fire that started on the girls' dorm roof.
Ooh.
So I'm back at home. I'm back at home now, but they extended our winter break like 3 weeks, so I can't go back to campus for 3 weeks. Which great! I'm
God.
so glad to be back home. But
Yeah,
I like living with my friends, and I
yeah,
we have to do virtual school too, so it's not like I'm just missing out on everything.
yeah.
Like, break was extended, but at what cost?
At what cost? And I'm
At
sure
what
you have to, give some in the summer too, right? Because it
Probably.
has to even out.
Yeah,
That
but
sucks,
I
but
genuinely love it. I
yeah.
love being
So
there.
cool.
It's amazing.
Is it a because this is your gonna be your last year, right?
Mhm.
Is it
Yeah,
bittersweet? Are you?
definitely bittersweet, which is
Yeah.
also really funny because my mom forced me to apply. She basically did all the application without telling me until she's like, "Hey, Shayla, your interview for school is tomorrow."
Oh my gosh.
"Oh, okay, that's great." I
Okay,
went
girl.
through the application process. I got there fully wanting to hate it so I could prove my mom wrong. And I got there and I loved it. And now I love it too much. And my mom's mad that she made me apply because, like, I don't like school anymore.
No.
I feel like that goes to show how much
Yeah,
I really enjoy being there. I love it so
yeah.
much. I
That's so
genuinely do.
great. That's wonderful. It's always a nice thing to like school because you're there all the time.
Right.
It's like live there, like essentially like students are there all the time. So
Yes.
it's a good thing to like school. But it's also nice that you got this experience because when you go to like actual dorming, like in college, it's like I
Yeah.
don't know how to do this.
You're
Like
right. I've done this for 2 years already.
yeah, like
Communal bathrooms don't
yeah,
phase me.
exactly. Oh, that's such a blessing that you already know how to do
Yes.
that.
Mhm.
That's a new experience for me.
Yes, it is. Culture
But
shock.
culture shock, yeah, for sure. Um, okay, do you have any? This is kind of like the space where if you have anything else you want to share, this will be open forum.
Yes. I think the one last thing, just because I'm doing a lot of preparation for this now, that I love to highlight, especially because I feel like it's another thing that's really unique to me, is again the Distinguished Young Women program. It's a program that starts when you're a junior in high school. That's basically all across the nation, but it specifically started in Alabama, and its values are to encourage young girls into positions of scholarship in academia and to prepare them for the professional world. And it's set up as a pageant format. I say that in quotes because it's really taboo to say that for this program specifically. I'm not supposed to say the P word, but you submit like a copy of your grades and your extracurriculars for the scholastic portion. We learn a fitness routine. We get to do a 10-minute standing up interview where we talk about current events and we talk about just ourselves too. And it's something that was so far out of my comfort zone that, again, my mom made me apply to, but so glad that she did. It's been an incredible experience. It's been really transformative for me too, and that's where I started to learn all the lessons of investing in my own potential. And that really started from my mom, of course, but that started with this program. So
Mhm.
I'm incredibly thankful that I've gotten the opportunity to be a part of this program and that I've won at the county level. I'm going to the state level in, I believe it's 2 weeks.
Oh
If
my
I'm looking at the
gosh.
date right. Yes, state competition is in 2 weeks. We get to spend a week in Montgomery, Alabama with host families, actually. I live with the host family for the week. And we just prepare for the program for 2 days. And I'm really excited. I'm hoping all of the preparations have paid off. But I think that's something also that's really unique to me just because I don't feel like you see every average teenage girl, every 17-year-old who has to keep up with current events and learn a fitness routine and who's preparing for like a 10-minute interview in the
No,
middle of.
you don't leave it. No. I've
Right.
spoken to a lot of students, and no, not even a little bit.
Yeah.
You are definitely unique in the best way possible.
Thank
Um,
you.
yeah, that's so exciting. I hope that it goes super well and that
Yes,
you
thank
get
you.
everything you want out of it. And I hope your host family is nice.
Oh, they're so sweet already.
Oh,
They
you
were
know them?
Yes. We got to meet them at our orientation, which I would believe was like December 7th, but we got to meet them there. They are such sweet people. Fun fact, we don't get to have our phone or, like, any electronics for the entire week that I'm there,
I
but
actually love that.
it's gonna be a challenge because I have an incredible amount of screen time on my phone now, so it's gonna be like a
Yeah,
big mix. But they're really sweet. They've like asked us what type of food we like to eat during the week. Like they're really accommodating. So I'm very excited. It's
that'll
gonna,
be
it's
so
gonna be an amazing
fun.
experience.
That'll
Yes.
be It's really nice that you're so young, but you get to experience so many different things and so many different like classes.
Yes. I'm very
So
fortunate.
yeah, no, it's
Yes.
amazing. I'm glad that you mentioned that. So
Thank you.
this was such a fun interview for me to conduct. I hope you enjoyed it. Do you
Yes,
have
I
anything
did.
else? Yeah.
I think I'm good. I think that
Okay.
about covers everything.
Perfect. Okay.
Hey YouTube! If you enjoyed this person's story, don't forget to subscribe below to hear more from our inspiring youth. If you want to apply for our Storyteller Scholarship or get more involved in our organization, click the link below to apply. Thanks for watching!